Good morning, everybody. It is 7 o'clock here in Las Vegas, but it's 8 o'clock back home in Mountain Time where I usually broadcast. So I've made the same time to try to make it consistent. Wanted to talk about a couple different things today. We're going to talk about a unique thing that happened on the flights down here yesterday. Talk a little bit about Las Vegas. We're going to talk about Martin Luther King because it's Martin Luther King Day. And a quote of his that I really like, and how it applies not just to safety and success, but to life in general. So that's sort of what we got coming up. Hope people join me, ask questions, make comments. Let's have some fun. If I was at home, I would be doing a different Martin Luther King quote because I'd be using a Martin Luther King cup with one of the quotes I really like. But I'm down here in Vegas and I got a cold brew that I put in the fridge yesterday, so I'd have something this morning because there's no coffee maker here, and I didn't want to go down to Starbucks this morning yet. So we're not going to do that quote. We're going to do a different one. Good morning, Randy. But next week, I will do a second Martin Luther King Day broadcast using the Martin Luther King cup that I have at home. Anyway, down here in Vegas for the SHOT Show, and a little bit later, we're going to go do some setting up. The show starts tomorrow, but I'm going to be doing some setting up with the guys today at the table. Good morning, Jim. Good to have you here. So this morning, you just sort of do this live, do some work here on the thing until I go meet them and we go do setting up and that. And then tomorrow, hitting the show hard, be over there at 8 in the morning. I'll still do my live before I head over there. And then, like I said, I'm hoping to do some just different live things during the show at different times. I don't know exactly when or what, just whatever opportunities. I see my glasses are really reflecting off. I got light coming in through the windows, the light that's coming on. But no, so having fun at Vegas. My wife in here got here yesterday. She came down with me. She'll go to the SHOT Show a little bit, but she's not working it like I am. She's just here to see what it's all like because she didn't get to go the last few times I've been here. And we're just having some fun. We went out and walked around last night, took some pictures, saw the fountain. We watched Forrest Gump with my daughter when she was home over the holidays. We just hadn't seen that movie in a long time. So, we watched that movie, great classic movie. I still remember the first time I saw it, which was in a movie theater in Bangkok, Thailand. That's where I happened to be when that movie came out. But we had to go to Bubba Gump Shrimp last night. We were walking around, we saw that and thought, that'd be a good place to go eat since we just watched the movie. And just having sort of fun walking around. I went to the M&M store and the Hershey store because my wife wanted to buy some gifts for, a couple of students and stuff back home. So we just had fun. And that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to enjoy. We're supposed to enjoy life and just enjoy it safely. But here's the key. I almost didn't make it here. This never happened to me before. It was sort of weird. We got up early in the morning. We had that 5:40 a.m. flight out of Missoula to Salt Lake City. So we got to Salt Lake City at about 7:30. Then we had to wait until like 11 to board our next flight that was like at 11:30. So it gave us a chance to do a little video, did my live from the airport, walk around, see some things, get a bite to eat. And lo and behold, a friend from the early 90s, we used to go to college together in the early 90s. And we see each other every year or two when we can at different places. A lot of times he comes up to visit back into Montana. So we get to see him and his family when they come up. He happened to be at the airport. He was coming from Colorado going to Billings, Montana. So we weren't going from or to the same place, happened to be at the Salt Lake City airport at the same time and got to have a little visit and catch each other up. And since he is moving back to Billings, Montana, a little bit closer to where I'm at over in Missoula, we'll get to see each other a little bit more often now, which is really great because great friend from many, many years. Again, I posted yesterday that, a picture the two of us took of each other together, in the airport. We went to the first sniper movie starring Tom Berenger. That was back in the early 90s together at the Wilmuth movie theater, which is not a movie theater anymore in Missoula. The historic building's still there, but they don't show movies. But that's how long we've been friends. We went to that movie way back then together. Went to other movies and stuff too, but that was sort of a unique one. So it was great to see Steve and catch up. you never know. I mean, it's a small world sometimes. The people that you run into and see, and take advantage of those times. Take advantage of it. So here's how I didn't almost get here. So visited with Steve. He had to go catch his flight. I had to go catch my flight. So, he's saying and I are there and we're in line and she's right in front of me. She clicks her boarding pass, beep, no problem, goes in to the tunnel, click mine, does it again, does it a couple times, and it's not letting me go through. You need to go over and talk to her. Said, okay. I go over to talk to her. He's saying it stops saying, where's Alain? She sort of came back and is at the door. And she's like, oh, so you were on that flight from Missoula this morning? Well, I didn't walk to Salt Lake City from Missoula. Of course, yeah, I was on the flight. My wife and I were on the flight. My bags were on the flight. And I just got a text message that my bags are on this flight because she said they didn't think I was on that flight, and so they had given my seat away. I mean, how do they not know? I mean, I was at the airport. I checked bags, and my wife checked bags because I brought books and stuff down here for the book giveaway that Reflex Protect is doing. We're giving away the Survive a Shooting book. We're giving these away, some signed editions as a promo at the show, so people can come to our booth and sign up, maybe get a free signed book. But so we had to check bags, close books and everything, and my bags are there, her bags. We went through security, we checked. Now they did upgrade us when we were in Missoula because as a gold member, I often get upgraded to things. But they still scanned our barcode. We both got on. We flew to Salt Lake. How did they not know that I was on that plane? That baffles me. I want to say a couple quick things. Garen, thank you much. I appreciate that. Kellen's laughing. I'm probably at the Delta show thing, but good. But yeah, and so I'm like, and then she goes, well, wait a second. And then, my wife came over because she's like, what's going on? I said, they didn't think I was on the flight from Missoula, and they gave my seat to someone else. So she's like, what? And so then she finally says, well, I can put you here back. It was a middle seat way back in the back. And, my wife and our seats were up like in row 17. And she wanted to put me back like in 35. And I said, you can't put us together. She goes, well, you can maybe ask the guy that, I gave that seat to because he seemed like a nice guy. And that's all they could do for me. So I said, okay. I'm going to say good morning to Danny. Good morning, Danny. Appreciate you being here. So we get in line. We're getting on a plane now. And we finally get to our seat, and the guy is sitting there, and the other two seats are empty because obviously the one is my wife's in the middle. I had the aisle. She had the middle. And, and I was polite. And I said, excuse me, this was originally my wife's seat. For some mistake, they gave it to you, but I'm supposed to be sitting here with my wife, and I got this other seat if you wouldn't mind, so my wife and I can sit together. And, and I thought, be polite, be nice, and he would, if somebody did that to me, I'd say sure, and I would move if, a guy and his wife wanted to be together and I was alone, especially for a short little flight from Salt Lake to Vegas. But, he sort of copped an attitude. It's like, he's like, seriously? I'm already sitting. And I'm like, seriously? That's my and my wife's seat that they gave to you. And you want to be a jerk about it and make me go sit in the back and have my wife sit up here alone with two guys, because there was another guy that had the window. So you want my wife to sit between two strange guys and me sit way in the back when the airline made the mistake because I bought these two seats? And then he's like, whatever. And he went storming in the back. And he didn't even take the ticket that I was trying to hand him that was, proof of that seat back there. And then the flight attendant's like, I told the flight attendant what happened. And she was like, well, technically, it's not your seat anymore. I'm like, well, technically, it's a seat I bought. And it wasn't my fault it was given away. And she's like, oh, whatever. I was like, wow. It's like I did absolutely nothing wrong. It was completely the airline's fault. But I can't figure out how they didn't know I was on the flight. that's, sort of scary when you think about it. When you're looking at security and safety of flights and everything, they took my ID and checked me in and checked 2 bags, because we even checked the carry-on, which was good because by the time we got on the flight, all the carry-on bins were full because of the waiting. But so they had 2 of my bags, they had 2 of my wife's bags. They checked us in. We went through the security, and then our boarding passes were scanned when we went on the flight, and they even upgraded us and put us on the flight. How did they know we weren't on the flight and thinking that I wasn't there? And then gave my seat to somebody else. Again, it's just sort of scary when you think about if they're making mistakes like that. Yeah, I don't get it. Kellen's saying, customer service. And then why is it so difficult for people to be nice today by John? Yeah, I don't get it sometimes either. It is funny. I really try to be nice all the time, and it just makes life a little bit more pleasurable. But I tell you, when somebody's not nice to me, I can flip in a heartbeat. And there is that mean streak of me. If it's a short little story, a lot years ago, we're at a circus festival in Korea, and I saw these college kids poking a stick into the cage that had the tiger, and I flipped and I started poking my finger into that college kid's chest, and he and his 3 buddies went, and then I asked him how he liked it, and I wasn't married yet, but I was with Sang, who's now my wife, and she looked at me and said, "You turned so mean. You were like the tiger." So I can flip pretty quick, but I don't know why people can't be nicer sometimes. If they only know that you could have dropped any one of them any time. Yeah, but that would have got me kicked off the plane, and the boss who paying for everything, Reflex Protect, they're paying my trip down here, and I'm working with them on this. They probably wouldn't have liked me getting kicked off and stayed at home. Technically, it's your seat. It's on paper. No, what they said, Danny, is technically when they reassigned it, it was not my seat anymore. When they gave it, it's pretty amazing that they did that. They love to overbook and try to get you to settle for another flight. Yeah, they like to do that too. And and one of the things is, I'm a Sky Priority Gold member. I missed Platinum by that much last year. And you'd think, sometimes they would treat us a little bit better because we're paying so much money and doing that many flights. Again, I got one of their highest credit cards that, my wife and daughter and I carry, and we spend a lot of money on that credit card, and that helps me keep that gold status. But yeah, why that whole thing, I don't know. And I am going to, they send out those little follow-up surveys afterwards. I'm not going to rate them as good as I normally do. And again, I like Delta. I have flown Delta. That's why I'm a gold member. I have had the most wonderful experiences with certain Delta flights, but yesterday wasn't one of them. Guess what Jim says? Maybe you should have escorted him a wrist lock. Yeah, again, I thought about it, but again, that would have got me kicked off, and I wouldn't be here enjoying Vegas. And Danny says, "Wow, yeah, it's crazy out there sometimes." The best thing is, though, even though it annoyed me, my wife and I did sit together. We got here, our baggage got here, and we had a fun time yesterday, because it was just a dead day, a travel day. And actually, we weren't even supposed to be on that early flight. The ticket I originally bought had us leaving Missoula at noon and getting here in the evening, because we didn't have anything to do yesterday except get to the hotel and go to dinner. And so Delta had changed the flight. So that was that was the first annoyance when we got the email saying, your flight is now at 5:40 a.m. It's like, we don't get to just sleep in on that Sunday. Oh, well, but we're here. We're having a great time. And it's Martin Luther King Day. And I wanted to share a Martin Luther King quote on his day. And again, it's not the one on my coffee cup. I will share that next week. But this is one I shared on the internet today, and I like it. If you can fly, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. I love that quote. And that quote is relevant to success. We keep moving forward toward our goals. It's relevant towards safety and self-defense. We do whatever it takes to be survivors. If you can't kick him in the head, you punch him in the head. You can't punch him, you bite him, you elbow him, you knee him. You do whatever it takes, and we never give up. We keep going forward to be survivors. And isn't that quote just life? It's life. We must keep moving forward any way we can. Going to stop and say, some people don't care anymore. It's sad, but I'm glad you got there safe. Maybe that guy wasn't hugged enough. Maybe I should have just gave him a hug and he would have felt better. The look he gave me when he was moving toward the back, I don't think he would have liked a hug. But yeah, it is what it is. He got the big, and again, if they gave him my seat, he must have been flying standby or something and wasn't even going to get on that flight. So he should be lucky he got any seat at all, right? If I would have been in that position, I would have, and I have been in that position. I have moved so people could sit together. It's no big deal, but it was just sort of funny. He's like, seriously? I'm already sitting. Is it that difficult to stand up? Yeah, but anyway, it was funny. Kellen says, great quote. Thanks. Yeah, I love that quote from Martin Luther King. You can see it on my page because I shared it on my social media today. So right under this video, on Alain Baris's Facebook page, you can find it. I'll probably share it around on LinkedIn and other places too today. It's a great quote, and it's relevant for everything. Keep moving forward. That's how we succeed. Keep moving forward. That's how we survive. That's how we make it through a tragic experience, whether it's self-defense or a natural disaster. We keep moving forward. We do whatever it takes to survive. And isn't that just what life is about? Keep moving forward. Take the knocks, take the setbacks, drive through them, pull up that discipline, that fortitude we have inside, and keep moving forward. That is such an awesome quote. And that's how I'm going to leave everybody today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I appreciate the comments and everything, and people making this more of a community and interactive. Let's keep it going. I will be here every day at this time, except when travel or something makes me do it at a different time. But we're going to have some fun, and I'm going to try to share some things that can help you stay safe, succeed, enjoy life. See you tomorrow, everyone. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that.